All right. Welcome to Tactical Pontoon live stream, the first live stream. And this is a bit of a test to get the whole deal down. Obviously, my camera is going in and out of focus. I've still got details in order to work out. You can see where my camera is also telling you what my settings are. Oh my God, come on, camera. Just figure it out. You were good earlier. Probably gonna set it on manual focus later on. Come on, camera. Come on. You were literally just working. All right, I'm gonna go back a little bit from the camera. It getting too close and the autofocus freaks out, I guess. Okay, there we go. That looks a little better. I'm gonna be looking at my laptop too to see if anybody is around or alive. As I said, this is a test. This is the first one. You'll hear my fan in the background. It is still warm here in Louisiana. Just the fan, not the air conditioning. And this is live. This is not my normal thing. My normal thing is to record a video and edit it and that sort of thing. So if I stumble, just trust me, when I am doing my videos, it takes quite a few tries and takes. But we're gonna go live. We're gonna try something a little bit different. That way, I get a chance to react and respond to you guys directly. Get a chance to do in real time. Talk about different products, answer questions, and that sort of thing. So this is a little bit different. This is not what I'm used to. I did a couple lives a few years ago, I guess almost about 3 years ago on Instagram. I got out of it a little bit just because I was busy. I was very busy. Still a busy person, still building triggers on a regular basis, obviously, quite a bit. But now I have a little bit more time to stop and just get a chance to talk to you guys. So that's what I'll be doing here with these live streams. That way I can talk about what I've got going on, what I've got in the works, and then I will leave these live streams up. What are my schedules for the live streams? I don't exactly have a schedule put up yet. This is Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's late for a lot of you guys. Well, for a lot of regular people. I'm a night person, so I am really going to kill this camera back and forth with this focus breathing thing. I do apologize. On my next video, I will be putting the focus on manual because this back and forth is just terrible. Let's see if I can adjust the light so maybe the camera can see me better, so it will stop focus breathing, and I don't think so. That is the problem. I thought it was on slow focus, but obviously it is just going crazy. It just, I guess, believes that it can't see me well enough. Try one more time with the light. Come on, camera. Just calm down. Like I said, this is a test. I'll get a few things set up. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, you've got my camera settings backwards. So yeah, as I said, this is a test. It'll get better as time goes on, or maybe it won't. Maybe it won't. Come on. This light will stand. Just trying to keep this thing from focusing like crazy. Anyways, I guess we're going to deal with that for now because I'm not going to get up and adjust the manual focus. Anyways, like I said, it's a test. And I do tend to ramble. One of the things about my original videos, if you go back, almost all of them are within the 20 to 30 minute range because that's what I tend to do. I'm not as direct and to the point, maybe more so nowadays than I used to be, just from being on video and trying to talk to people. I know a lot of my older videos, like I said, 25 to 30 minutes of me trying to go into all of the details. Whereas my latest videos are all about 5 to 10 minutes long, just so that I can get to the actual point. So I do apologize if I ramble on a bit. I will try to keep things in focus, try to maintain a good pace. So what do we have going on in Tactical Pontoon? Why in the world am I doing lives? Well, as I said, I'd like to get a chance to talk to you guys, answer questions as they come about, and just get a feel for what you guys are looking for. And also just get, see, there I am just kind of rambling. So live streams, you know, when it comes down to it, I spend a lot of time on like Instagram, updating that. Some on Facebook, not so much anymore. Facebook is Facebook. Even Instagram, to the point nowadays, it's not what it was. You've got all of the little shorts, bull crap, or whatever, the reels that they're calling them now. I literally got started on Instagram with the Tactical Pontoon name for sharing photos of my different hobbies, and mainly the Glocks. And the next thing I knew, I was building triggers, and the Tactical Pontoon name stuck. So I started a lot on Instagram. However, nowadays, hey, what's up, Scott? I see you're online. It's a live stream. The camera is going crazy. So Scott there in the chat, that man is pretty much one of the reasons why Tactical Pontoon is even a thing. So as I said, Instagram has become a bit of a chore. Just so I will definitely be, you know, continuing updating that with all the different things. But I wanted to start doing the live streams. Probably, like I said, I want to try about once a week. Get a couple guests on here as I go, do that sort of thing. Obviously, it's a small YouTube channel. I don't know how many guests are going to want to come on here, but as we grow, we'll get some interesting ones. Now, don't get me wrong. That I have some good people that will want to come on. Different builders, different gun tuners, stipplers, framework, those type of guys that'll come on and you know, get berated by myself, and you guys can ask them questions, different things. So that'll be fun. It'll be fun as time goes on, as we do these live streams. So let's talk about what we've got going on with Tactical Pontoon right now. Almost a month ago, a little over a month ago, we did the drop-in series. And if you've seen that video, you've got the idea. I was against doing drop-ins for a long time, just because of how busy I was with the standard Excommunicado series, and my goal of always bringing out the absolute best. And a drop-in, while they can be awesome, you know, that's where I started out looking at triggers, was with trigger shoes and, you know, connectors. But I bought a bunch of different drop-ins when I got started with a Glock, and they all were the same. Like every single one, aside from a different trigger shoe, they were the same thing. Everybody was doing exactly the same thing. I think the most out of the box ones in the drop-in sphere would have been Agency and Switch. I guess Switch. Yeah, Switch is the drop-in. They don't have anything that's adjustable. So you had your Agency and Switch. They were probably the most out of the box out of all of them. And then Agency kind of, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit, changed the connector that they went with. And like I said, drop-ins are just that. They drop in. They are a Steven, I had boxes full of triggers and parts. Yes, boxes and boxes. I got a graveyard of dead parts that I've messed up over the years, and during experiments, and just I feel sorry for some of those parts. I definitely messed up some parts over the time. So all the different drop-ins, Apex, Agency, CMC. Oh my goodness, CMC. That's a failure right there. And the thing about drop-ins, they are for the most part, kind of a compromise, because a company puts together a drop-in system to fit a very large part of the market as easily as possible. Now, the Glock itself is a very simple trigger system, and that's what's beautiful about it. But it also has a lot of different nuances that come down to, especially as time has gone on with polymer 80s, all the different aftermarket frames, the just so many different aftermarket frames, slides. There's so many different tolerance stacks that come along. People throw in different strikers, different striker springs, all that sort of thing. So with these drop-ins, these large companies don't want to deal with the problems that come along with all of these different tolerance stacks. So they put together a package that works for a lot of different combinations, which means you're getting middle of the road at the very best. And I get it from their standpoint. They don't have somebody who's just there waiting to answer questions. I mean, they're a big company. They've got a very large amount of people that they're dealing with. So I get that. And that's what I found out with all those drop-ins from other companies it was just kind of middle of the road. And I didn't want to put the Tactical Pontoon name on something that was just generic middle of the road. So I fought it for the longest period of time. And people asked, there were a lot of people that asked, do you have a drop-in? Can you build something that's just a drop-in? So this camera is going to kill me. I swear. I apologize for the camera. It's actually a really nice camera, but it's decided it's just going to go crazy. I'll have to get in there and dive in with the settings. Like I said, this is a test. So I do apologize. Bear with me as we get this first live stream out of the way. So with the drop-in, I finally, now that I have more time and the market's a little bit different than it was, because let's face it, we don't have as much money right now to play with toys, a lot of us, and build a lot of builds in the same ways with the same amount of money as we did before. So that's where the drop-ins come in. I wanted something that was worthy and could be built for the right price with components that I knew would give an experience that is far and above what everybody else brings to the market. And that's what I did with the drop-ins. They are a component level creation that doesn't have as much of my magic built into them, because let's be honest, time is money. And in order for me to build the Excommunicado system, the Leonidas system, those are very hands-on. The drop-ins are less hands-on, and so that drops the price down considerably. But I made sure with the drop-ins that I didn't drop that level of quality, because I chose components that I knew personally were going to perform better than anything else drop-in on the market. Not custom, but they definitely give custom a run for the money. I'm not even going to lie. If I was in the market today and I was not a tinkerer and I bought one of these drop-in systems, I would be very happy with them, because, I mean, not just because I built them, but because I know what works, and the Tactical Pontoon set of drop-ins work. You have the Equalizer 3.5. That's the first one. That is the basic one. That is a drop-in trigger competition style, which is better than all of your 3.5 drop-ins. Apex has a 3.5. I mean, they don't call them 3.5. And why did I name them such? Well, one of the main questions that I get asked is, what is the trigger pull? And it for me, that kind of rankles me. I'm kind of funny. Break is what I consider the proper term, but everybody says pull. And like I said, with these live streams, you're going to get me rambling and revealing some of the things that I talk about or the way that I feel. So if I hurt anybody's feelings, you know, it happens. So break. What do they break at? What does your trigger pull at? And this is a question I get all the time. So with the drop-ins, in order to make it easier, I ranked each of them in their name, except for the EDC, with their break, which the equalizer 3.5 in almost any configuration is going to break in the 3.5 range. Then there is the EDC, the Excommunicado Duty Combat System. That is closer to a factory style trigger component wise. It's cleaned up. You're going to get something that is very reliable, something that breaks lighter than factory, right around the 4 to 4.5 pound range with the EDC, along with that beautiful Excommunicado trigger shoe. That one is that's my basic drop in. It's beautiful. It is going to perform better than anything else drop in the market, especially at that price range. But it's not considered what I would consider a competition trigger. That's why I call it the EDC. And then, of course, at the top of the list is the Peacemaker 3.0. That drop-in features a different trigger shoe. Now, I'll get back to it. That features a different trigger shoe. It is not inherently a better trigger shoe. I've been very happy with the Excommunicado triggers since basically day one. But I put the Gunco SS trigger on the Peacemaker 3.0 system. And the Peacemaker 3.0 is the same components as the Equalizer 3.5, but I include a striker spring, a 5-pound striker spring, not a 5.5, not a 4.5, but a very high quality 5-pound striker spring in with the kit. That is basically going to give you that 3.0 in almost any configuration. It's right there. It's a beautiful trigger shoe. It's not as skeletonized, not as ornate or intricate as the Boogeyman Excommunicado, but it's a blade style. It has perhaps a little bit less take up, and it's available only in black currently. Currently only available in black with a variety of different safeties. So, and then of course your Excommunicado trigger shoe comes in a variety of different colors with a variety of different safeties. It's still, like I said, an excellent option. The drop for drop-ins, you're definitely going to be hard pressed. And I've seen all of the drop-ins that are out there. You're just not going to get the same level of performance or looks anywhere else for the same price as the Tactical Pontoon drop-ins. So that's me talking about the drop-ins. I'm very excited about the drop-ins. Like I said, I prefer the deep dive custom triggers overall, but I mean, the drop-ins are something that I'm actually proud of. I'm still very proud of those, and they're flying off the shelf. So if you get a chance and you're looking to complete a build and you don't want to go the full custom route, you don't want to have to deal with over travel stops or any sort of adjustments, the drop-in series are the way to go. Now, the thing about drop-ins, any Glock trigger drop-in, even a factory Glock trigger, one thing that you definitely need to check, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of connectors got bad raps. Some people would say, oh, I dropped a Ghost connector 3.5 in my gun and it went full auto, or it stopped breaking, whereas the next person would have one and it worked just fine, is because any trigger that you put in a Glock, you need to put a Glock Armorer's plate on there and verify cruciform to striker lug engagement. Any drop-in. Even if you're replacing a factory Glock trigger with another factory Glock trigger, that is a step that you need to do. That is something you need to know how to do if you're changing a Glock trigger. So a Glock Armorer's plate, You can take a factory plastic slide plate and you can cut the bottom off. I've got the tactical pontoon aluminum ones on the site. They're available. That's something if you want something that's really nice for a Glock Armors plate. If you do a lot of them, if you're a shop, that's something you should probably have. And if you're just doing it at home, like I said, just chop the bottom off of a plastic one and just verify that. When you put in any trigger, whether it's one of the drop-ins, you definitely need it for an excommunicado system. You need it for a Leonidas system. Definitely for a Leonidas system. If anything, I might make that an option, a drop-down option on the website for Leonidas, just to include one. Anyways, so that's the drop-in system. Those have been extremely popular here lately. And if you get a chance, take a look at one. The Peacemaker 3.0, that is, I think one of the things about that one that for some reason, the Gunco trigger that is on that, people aren't as excited about it just because it doesn't look as good as the Excommunicado trigger. But it's an excellent trigger. It's not, I would not have put it on one of my trigger systems if I didn't think that it was worthy. And, let me roll into, since I've got you guys here live and I'm just kind of rambling, we'll run into triggers, aftermarket triggers. They don't make as big a difference as people think. I ran down that rabbit hole in the very beginning. I bought a ton of different just triggers. I think the first one that I bought that I tried because I'm kind of a cheap ass is the Kinetatech flat trigger. And I gotta say, that left me very upset. I was very disappointed with that in the beginning because I didn't notice really any difference. Like I tried to tell myself, because that's at that time, I felt that was going to be the thing that gave me the world of difference, because I had put different springs in, I had put a different connector, and I was very unhappy. I was like, what in the world? I watched different videos on YouTube and thought, oh my goodness, okay, so I can, my trigger is going to be great. So I did this, I did that, I did the safety plunger, I had the titanium striker, and titanium striker with a 4.5 pound spring, and that was just an unfortunate feeling. So like I said, I spent the big money at the time, the big money for me, on a Kinetatech aluminum trigger shoe, and that was just a letdown, because that trigger shoe, it's decent, it's a flat trigger shoe, but it didn't reduce take up hardly any at all. Their machining is a bit rough, and I was just left with a slightly better trigger just because I was able to get a better purchase on the trigger. So anyways, rambling on, with aluminum triggers, you are going to get, basically the largest benefit that you are going to get is how it looks. For the most part, it's going to look a lot better depending on the trigger that you buy. The next big thing that an aluminum flat trigger is going to give you is better leverage. Now, depending on the size of your hand, the way that you hold the gun, the way that you pull the trigger, that leverage is going to vary from being excellent to just, you're not going to notice any difference from a factory trigger, just because of the way that your finger fits on that trigger. So with that, you can move your finger down lower to get better leverage on the trigger, which is going to give you a lighter trigger break. So I mean, that's the real secret behind trigger shoes. And the biggest benefits that you're going to see. It looks better. You get better leverage. That's the main thing. Now, some triggers are going to have less pre-travel than others. Some triggers are going to really reduce that pre-travel to almost nothing. That can get people in trouble. Ask me how I know, Ranger Proof. So with that, you also have to look at the safety side of things. And if you're using it for carry, you want to kind of, and we'll delve into that in another video. Anyways, pre-travel is another benefit that you're going to get. That reduction in pre-travel, depending on your style of shooting, what you're using that trigger for, that's going to have benefits that carry, that are going to help your shooting style. If you don't like that pre-travel and you want something that's almost up at the wall, the different triggers are going to help you with that. And then, of course, there's the Leonidas system, my top of the line system, which has no travel whatsoever, but it does maintain all of the safeties. So that is something that takes a little bit of work to do. And some of these triggers, less of them nowadays than there used to be, which had a lot of that travel taken up. You were running pretty close to the edge. There's one out there now that I won't mention that runs pretty close to the edge, and I haven't played with one enough to say yay or nay on it, so I should probably just stop there. Anyways, with the other thing that some of your triggers are going to have is an over travel stop built into, and I have a video on triggers. It's an older video. I should probably update that. That has an over travel stop built into the trigger, which is kind of asking for trouble from some setups, especially, like I said, nowadays there are so many different variations with your polymer 80 frames, which are a lot less polymer 80s. I definitely built a lot less triggers for polymer 80s than I did, say, a year or two ago. So polymer 80, Combat Armory's got their frame, Nomad's got their frame, who was it? SCT just released their frame. I'm interested in getting one of those on hand. All of these different frames have different variations, and you're going to get different amounts of travel. So that also plays into the pre-travel part, because all of these different frames, actually almost all of them, have different openings in the different size openings for the trigger to sit, and that's going to change. Yes, PSA, they've got their dagger. I've got one of those. Interesting little frame. Not a big fan of the roll pins that they put in that to hold everything. Just not a big fan of that, but it works. The PSA it's a decent little trigger, or decent frame. I should have mine back here soon. I've got that out at Tommy Gun Stippling in Texas, which is now Texas Gunworks. A shout out to you guys. I'm actually going to go down to their shop once they get it up and running. Pretty cool to go out there. Anyways, back to triggers. Like I said, I can ramble with the best of them when it comes to this sort of thing. And after doing this for as many years as I have, I've got different stories and different things that I can talk about. So really, it shouldn't be too boring, these live streams, especially once I get other people that are in here to talk back and forth with. We'll get the chat going, more people on chat besides just my friend Scott. Don't you have bed, Scott? Aren't you at work? Don't you have work to do? Anyway, some people have it nice. I swear. So we should be, like I said, this should be more interesting as time goes on. They definitely have some stories about different triggers and I'll get the camera fixed so it won't keep going in and out. Like I said, this was kind of a test. This was a test to get things going. and to finally do it. I've been meaning to do this for a while now. Alternative holiday. Listen, okay, well, like I said, some people have the life. They've got an alternative holiday. That's pretty neat. I work every single day. Always out here. Always down to talk about triggers. Steven, we'll have to I'll have to shoot you a message after this, and be good. It'd be good to do a good back and forth, talk about triggers, and you can see how much I don't know. However, my goodness, I have seen some stuff. I have seen some stuff about, different trigger things that have come up over my time. I have seen things that I never expected. Here recently, I actually saw a trigger safety tab that broke. The tab actually broke. I've never seen that. I've never seen a trigger safety tab break in half. I've seen pins come out. I've seen springs come out, but this trigger, the safety tab actually broke, and he said he was just the customer said, man, I was just running that thing, and I felt he said I was running as fast as I could, which hey, like I always say, run it like you stole it, because they're meant to be run fast, but you do need to push the safety tab in, and so that it doesn't catch on the frame. And obviously this one, I guess the tolerances were close. It caught on the frame, and he just, he went full Hulk mode, and it broke the safety tab. I've never seen that in all of the different years that I've been doing this. I've never seen a broken safety tab. So I'm always seeing new things come down the line. When I think that I have figured out everything and all the different nuances, something new comes down the line. It's just, it blows me away. All the different things on safety or triggers, and this relatively simple system that I got into. And like I said, when I think I've seen everything, something new comes down the line. So anyways, where were we at? Really just, I had finished talking about the drop-in system and going back to these live streams. Like I said, once a week is kind of what I'm trying to do. I'd like to get to a once a week schedule, probably a better time of day. I'm more of a night person when I'm going to have free time to do this. So more than likely it'll either be a weekend, like weeknight, maybe somewhere earlier around 7 to 8 o'clock. So it's just different things that I'm playing around with. This is, it's on my time. It's almost 11 o'clock. Basically, as a test. I knew I was not going to be bothering a lot of people, and to get a chance to get overwhelmed in the chat as I get things figured out. Obviously, my camera has decided to go crazy. I still need to get all of the different things off the bottom, and it shows no card and something else. So this was a test to get the lighting right. It's probably still a little bit dark, especially if I'm going to try to show you guys anything. Not just have this dark, mysterious background. Oh. I was playing with this gun earlier and changed a few things, and now it's acting funny. That's just the way it goes. Okay. Anyways, this is with an excommunicado. This is actually a prototype of an excommunicado V2. Now, when it comes to the V2, I talked about that a couple months ago on Instagram, and I alluded to it on a video here. But right now, the V2 is kind of still in progress. I sent out a couple variations out there, and there was good feedback. There was good feedback. The thing about the V2 is there's a lot more that needs to be done work-wise to each V2, and I still haven't nailed it down exactly where I want it. So the V2, I'm hoping that I can bring it out before the end of the year. but I can't guarantee that. There's still a couple things that I want to get nailed down and to get more efficient doing. And I'm still, parts wise, there's still some stuff I'm playing with on the V2. It's going to be good. It's going to be worthy. The excommunicado, the standard excommunicado that I've got up now is a beast. V2 is just kind of my personal pet project. Probably don't even need to bring out the V2, but I'm always tinkering with things. I'm always trying to make things better. But like I said, right now the V2 is probably kind of just treading water at this point while I figure out a few different things and parts. I mean, we're still, I mean, it's not 2021 where material was almost impossible to find. However, it is 2022, almost the end of 2022, and while things are better, they're not perfect. And that's the other part of it, the price aspect of it. Everything's more expensive. And for me personally, I can't see bringing out an even more expensive trigger at this point. It's just not there. Steven, what trigger do I personally carry? I carry an excommunicado. I also, depending on the day, I carry a Leonidas. One in my G26, that would be the Leonidas. And then in a G43X, or I want a G43X. I haven't bought one yet. A G43, I carry an excommunicado. More often than not, I'm carrying the G43 with the excommunicado, just because the G43 is obviously easier to carry. G26, I love that fat little gun with the Leonidas, but and it is getting close to winter, but this is Louisiana, so winter is kind of not really all that cold until we get to about the end of December and January, and depending on the year, it could go really crazy. So that's the excommunicado or the Leonidas. If I was to recommend something to somebody who was experienced, it would be the excommunicado. If you're not experienced, the EDC, you can't go wrong with that one. So yeah, that's the one I'm personally carrying, is an excommunicado. Love the Leonidas. If you've not seen the video on a Leonidas, or you haven't heard about the Leonidas, check that thing out. That's the pinnacle of Glock triggers. It does take some setup. I could talk about the Leonidas all day just because of how proud I am, how much fun I have shooting those. And then when people get a chance to shoot one for the first time, they never want to go back. And next thing I know, their entire Glock library, if you will, is set up with Leonidas. And the thing about the Leonidas is I can only do so many of them a month just because of how much extra time they take, which also goes back to the reason why I haven't done the V2 excommunicado, just because of the extra time it takes to build one. Steven, you should try a Boogeyman trigger. You get a chance, and it sounds like you're pretty knowledgeable on triggers. Go order one. It's an awesome trigger. It's the best looking trigger on the market right now. It does have a decent, in Tucson, yeah, run down there, go pick one up. And let's talk about Boogeyman triggers right now. I've definitely got some back orders right now with black triggers. This is a manufacturing thing. I don't know how much of it that I can get into, but they're about to pick back up and get full steam ahead when it comes to that. So I definitely have a bit of a back order on black triggers. So if you've ordered a trigger from me in the last 3 weeks or so and it was black, and maybe you haven't emailed me, or you're wondering why, especially if it's a drop-in, because the drop-ins I normally try to get out of the shop within a week to 2 weeks. Why your trigger's not shipped and it's black? Well, that's the reason why. There's a bit of a backlog on those, but I am told that is about to change and they'll be back full steam ahead. So, like I said, Boogeyman triggers, I love them. I've been using them since day one. It's funny because and I'm rambling again, but hey, that's what live streams are for, right? The Excommunicado, when it first came out, I don't know if I missed the fact that, because I knew TJ or Terry at Boogeyman was a John Wick fan. We've dealt with each other for a while, and I figured, well, I'll just call it the Excommunicado. And then I noticed on his website that he had named it the Excommunicado, and I figured, oh, well, maybe we both named it the same thing at different times. Like, there was a bit of a confusion. I actually thought that I named the Excommunicado. That's why it's the Excommunicado system. And I thought, oh, well, hey, TJ, you named it the Excommunicado after me. And he's like, no, that was always the name. So I must have copied off him. I copied off his style. I definitely picked up his style from him. So the Excommunicado just seemed like the proper name to name my trigger system, which happened to be the name of the trigger. So it still to this day causes me some pain when people ask, well, why is your Excommunicado double the price of the Excommunicado on Boogeyman's website? And are you guys using the same things? And it's like, well, yes, it's the same trigger, but I do a full trigger system. So that's why then I named it the full trigger system. And then, of course, I came out with the complete kit that also came out with the striker and the safety plunger, making that the complete. Then you've got the full triggers. It's just shot myself in the foot with that one. But that's kind of a backstory with the Excommunicado. I actually, stupid me, thought that he had not stolen, but used the name. And so there was a little back and forth on Instagram Messenger. It was kind of funny. So yeah, that's the Excommunicado, because I would not have wanted to name originally my system after his trigger, so that I wouldn't get the type of questions that I do. Well, why is yours more expensive than his, and that sort of thing. But the Excommunicado is just the perfect name for that trigger shoe, and it's the perfect name for that trigger system, and it's stuck. And similar to the tactical pontoon name, sometimes when it's that good, you just stick with it. And that's what we did. So, yeah, rambled on about the Excommunicado. Excellent trigger shoe. So if you get a chance, yes, pick one up. You can pick one up from me, a full system. But like I said, it seems like you're, Steven, sounds like you're a bit of a trigger nut yourself. So just go pick one up and play with it. Feel free to let me know what you think. There was something else I was going to talk about, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, well, that's the beauty of live streams. And it seems like I've pretty much hit about what I wanted to talk about. And again, I apologize for the crazy camera breathing. I hope it's not unwatchable. I hope the sound was okay. I do have my fan going on in the background, so there is a bit of noise from that. I did turn the AC off, so I've got a bit of sweat going on here. So anyways, thank you for joining on the first Tactical Pontoon live stream, Swimming with the Pontoon. I should have some guests coming later on other ones. I've got a few, definitely some thoughts on people to bring on. So, and then I've got people that are already interested in coming on. So anyways, that is Tactical Pontoon here in the Trigger Cave tonight. I will catch you next week, maybe sooner, maybe later. And I will put out announcements. This was, like I said, again, just a trial, a test, and to verify everything was working. So anyways, that's it for tonight. I will catch you later. on Tactical Pontoon. If you need anything, you know how to reach me. The email on the website is probably the best way, or Instagram, tactical_pontoon. Easiest way. Anywhere, any of the other ones are fake. There were some fake ones that popped up after a giveaway. So, anyways, and they've probably changed since then. But tactical_pontoon, Instagram. That's one way to get a hold of me as well. And so, anyways, before I ramble on for another 20 minutes about Instagram, I will catch you later.